AI is evolving fast. Are you ready? Meet AI at FlytBase, your weekly hub to learn, upskill, and stay ahead in AI world. Let's dive into today's session.
Quickly share some interesting AI updates from past week. And once that's done, I'll hand it over to Pranjal to kick things off with the session you all are here for. So I won't waste much of your time and straight away go to the AI news. So first news is from the Anthropic. So they have just dropped the Claude Fable 5, which is none other than the Mythos model, which was released for a few enterprise to test earlier, now made safe for general use. So it's their most capable model yet, leading benchmark, especially in software engineering, complex knowledge work, scientific research, and now it's available for everyone. The second news is from the Super Memory. So they have just open source their entire company called as Super Memory Local. So it's basically a fully self-contained local version with their graph engine and embedding. So you can run your entire personal or company's memory system on any machine, and it works great with any of the agents like OpenClaw, Hermes, Claude, or anything. And they even release their SDKs to plug memory into your own agents. And the binary is fully open source on GitHub. Perfect if you want full privacy and control over your second brain or company knowledge base without depending on the cloud. Now, the third news is from the Google itself. So they have released the Gemini 3.5 Live Translate, their latest audio model that's excellent for real-time translation. And they claim that it handles more than 70 languages with very low latency and auto detects the multilingual conversation, preserves the original speaker's pitch and pacing, and even filters the noise in loudest environment. You can try it now in public preview through Gemini Live API and AI Studio, and they will be soon told that they will integrate this into Google Meet, so you will have a live translation there itself. Now, last but not the least, this one is for the creatives. So Hagen just launched their Hyperframes connector for the Claude. So now inside Claude, you can go straight from conversation to short videos, where different kind of AI agents, which has a built-in skill for typography, motions, captions, and voice that renders your videos and edit for yourself. So they have a vast amount of libraries and UIs that understand your audios, that understand your videos, transcribe it, and understand the context, and edit the videos for you and make cool motion graphic animations. So it is a super quick tool if you want to make a quick launch video or something for a startup or anything. So that was it for the AI part. Now I'll hand it over the stage or a mic to Pranjal. So hi Pranjal, how are you?
I'm doing good, Ian. How are you?
Yes, yes. Now the stage is all yours.
Yeah. Okay. So just a quick bit of introduction about me. So I'm Pranjal. I'm part of the solutions engineering team here at FlytBase. So as a part of solutions engineering team, we are the customer facing team here. So we are in charge of directly interacting with the customers, understanding their workflows, building internal or even tools for customers that they can use to streamline their workflows, right? And as a part of that process, we also look into many issues that customers face on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of our time is kind of being, spent in analyzing those issues and then finally providing RCA or analysis to the customers, right? Because as a part of solutions engineering, our goal is to kind of streamline their workflows, right? So one part of that is also, making sure that they are not facing any issues, and if they are, how can we, deliver any analysis of RCA to them at the earliest, right? So usually, the process is very long. Customer reports an issue, it comes into our knowledge base or Slack channel, then our dev team looks into it, and this process takes a lot of time, and sometimes for 2-3 days the issues are basically no one analyzes it, right? Because there could be multiple tickets at once and a lot of debugging that goes into that. So in this project that I'm going to be showing you today, I've basically built a incident analyzer tool. So this is more of a customer facing tool that customers can use themselves, and as well as solutions engineering teams or customer success teams can also use internally, so that that complete handover from a customer to dev is completely eliminated, and we can directly resolve those issues for customers or provide analysis for those issues to the customers directly. So I'll first walk through, what's my Claude setup looks like, right? So this is my Claude code. Here, what I've done is I have a lot of connectors actually. So in the connectors, this entire Claude has access to my entire Google workspace. So what it means is it has access to my Gmail, Google Drive, any meeting notes are also accessed using Circleback. So whenever we go into customer calls, debugging calls, all of them are recorded, and I can connect it with our Claude to get transcripts out of it, or get information about what was discussed in the meeting itself. So I also have my Slack, because when customers report issues, they are automatically sent to our Slack channel for visibility, and so that devs can also analyze them. So I have all this information with me through these connectors. So what I've done is, because over the past multiple months or years, we have an entire repository of issues or SOPs that customers have faced. Using all that information that I already have, right? So like I have an entire collection of folders which consist of how each individual issue can be debugged, right? And this is something that our development team has helped us with, right? Basically an SOP to analyze an issue a customer has faced, right? So I have all this, but the problem with this is there are a lot of docx files, a lot of zip files, PDF files, right?
Angel,
Yeah.
sorry to disturb you, but I think you are not audible, like you are a little bit low. So if you can just speak a little bit louder. So
Okay. Is it better now? Is it better now?
yes.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So my screen is visible, right? This folder. Okay. So basically, this folder consists of a lot of docx files and PDF files. So this is not very readable for AI tools, right? So what I've done is I have took all these folders and created a knowledge base out of it using a tool called Obsidian. So Obsidian is a tool that it's been there for quite a while, and with the advent of AI, a lot of people are using Obsidian to manage their markdown files. So markdown is something that today's AI tools understand very efficiently. It also helps them to minimize token usage, because whenever you are reading a PDF or a document file, right, the AI has to break it down, like build a converter for it, then break it down into chunks, then read any images out of it. But what Markdown does, it efficiently passes that information into AI readable format. So based on all the information that I had in that folder, I just basically asked my Claude to create a detailed graph representation of Markdown files with traceable links to a knowledge base. So I had given them the folder which consisted of all my documents, and then I gave it the folder location of my Obsidian, right? So what it does is it basically it broke everything down into chunks and created this entire repository of all the issues that we have faced in the last year, right? So it has classified issues according to various sections of the product, and basically created this deep repository which explains how to tackle a particular issue, and if any customers reports it, where to refer that information from. So you can see it is all interconnected, right? So if I click on a particular, let's say doc offline and connectivity issues, it takes me to all the links or all the issues that are linked with that. So I have SOPs in place, which tells me or tells the AI how to debug a particular issue that customer faces. So this is how my knowledge base is set up, right? Now, once this is set up, what I've done is, I've also used Level, because this is all local in my computer, right? I need a way to expose this functionality on the web so that customers can access it and our internal team members can also access it. So I have used Lovable for setting that up, right? So let me also share that with you. Yeah. So this is a tool that I have. So everything that you saw right now, right, on my local machine, that was just a lot of documents, and those documents were interconnected with each other. Like they had information about individual issues and how to tackle them. Now I need a way to query and to interact with all those documents, right? So what I've done is I basically connected this with Lovable. This is all directly connected to Lovable, and I had asked Claude to dump all this information into markdown files and then push it to my GitHub repository. So what I did was pushed all these documents to my GitHub repository. These are all markdown files, right? And then I simply basically connected that particular GitHub to this Lovable project, right? So once this GitHub repository is connected to my Lovable project, right? I basically asked it to create a customer-facing dashboard where I can query these documents. Now, along with these documents, these are basically text documents, but we also need to get real-time information to check all this. So, just a brief context: what FlytBase does. FlytBase is a drone autonomy platform. Customers all around the world fly drones using FlytBase. So we deal with a lot of information, like altitude, RTK data, RF information, radio frequency, things like that, network connectivity. So there could be a lot of issues that customers can face while flying the drones. One of them could be bad internet connection. That's one of the most common issues, right? If the internet connectivity is less, how can they control their drone over the internet? So that is something that is one of most common issues that customers face, right? And actually then they report that issue as a that particular scenario as an issue to us. So that takes a lot of time for us to delve deep into every one of those issues and then provide a simple basic analysis like your internet connectivity is low. So that's not really sustainable if there are a lot of tickets every day. So this is one of our flight logs. It basically records all the data that has happened during the flight. And I've also connected our internal tool. We have something called as -0. It's our logging tool. So everything that happens within the FlytBase platform, it gets stored in a centralized repository, right? So I've used APIs for that tool. It's called -0, and I'm also fetching live backend information from that tool. Usually, this tool was used by our development team to kind of analyze issues in real time. But as solutions engineering, we don't need to know how to look into backend logs. So let me just quickly show you how this works, right? So every flight on FlytBase is associated by this flight ID, right? This flight ID is something that every customer also sends to us while reporting a particular issue. So what I can do is I have flight ID. I know that this flight had an issue on it. I can go here. So it's fetching the information of that particular flight. It's basically analyzing all the SOPs that we have. It's also getting live telemetry data from our backend logs that we have stored in our database and our -0 logging system. When I do run all analysis, it will go through everything. It will go through all the information that it has, and it will basically give a checklist of what all has failed in that particular flight, right? So everything that has failed in that particular flight, it would directly give out what exactly is failing, right? It would everything that is checked in green would mean that, this is something that was normal and you don't need to look into this. So clearly in this particular flight, they had a lot of network issues, right? So they had 0.3 Mbps of connectivity during that time. And they also have, RF, or basically radio frequency issues. So it clearly highlights that in this. So usually it takes a lot of time for us, for our development team as well, to go through, backend logs, right? And they have to kind of like shift their focus from the development work to debug these issues. And that's a lot of graphs to analyze, right? To analyze all this. So I'll just also show you, how that looks like. That tool looks like, it's like very scary, honestly. So it kind of looks something like this, right? The tool that our dev team uses, and it is definitely not user friendly, and it's like not really sustainable if you need to automate or check the issue automatically. So it consists of, a lot of these graphs and data that's not really user readable. So instead of that, right, how can I just want a yes or no answer or a checklist of what was bad, what was good, right? So I've defined, what all parameters are important for me to check before every flight. So everything that's normal is in green, everything that's bad is in red. And this tool can then also create a RCA report that I can share with the customer. So this is more, customer facing. I had given them prompts to kind of create an RCA in a format that we usually send out to customers. So it can also draft that customer facing report as well. So it directly gives, the root cause analysis as RF degradation and also the network connectivity, right? And we can also simply download a document file as well that can be shared with the customer directly, right? Now, apart from this, let's say you will want to just check what else other things happened in this flight. So what I basically did was I went to this. So the RCA report section was clear, right? Yeah. So coming on to this intelligent analysis section, what I can do is I can simply give in, normal prompts to this tool. Let's say I've given this flight ID and I just asked a simple question: why did the drone automatically trigger RTH or come back automatically during this flight? So what it does is it automatically goes through all the information that it has fetched and gives out an analysis, right? It came back home because the network got disconnected, and it directly gives me the root cause as a link loss, right? So this reduced a lot of my time and developers' time as well, and the customer also got an RCA immediately, right? Because earlier they would have to report an issue, the dev team would then need to check it, and then it would take 2-3 days to analyze, right? So the goal of this tool is to provide customers with the ability to directly check their own logs, right? So there are a lot of more information in this as well. I won't get into more details, on how, what all these means. But if the customer wants to debug their own issues of their particular flights, they don't need to reach out to us. We have measures. This tool enables them to directly, debug their own issues based on previous historic FlytBase data, SOPs, and live data from our logging tool in the backend, right? So this provides them an ability to do this, ask questions about, what happened in their particular operation. So this reduces a lot of time for us as well as the customer. And on top of this, I'll also show you how it looks like in Lovable as well. So I'm using something called as edge functions, right? So Lovable has something called as Lovable Cloud, right? So Lovable Cloud provides you ability to connect your entire dashboard to a backend and also, perform serverless operation. So earlier I mentioned that, I had provided the knowledge base to Lovable. So where it is storing all that, so it also created these, I think it's loading in our database, all the frequently asked questions that a customer had in the past. It also kind of created chunks of all the SOPs that I had shared with it. It's loading. Yeah, so all the markdown files that I had provided to it, that's all stored in the database. And every time the user asks a question about their particular flight, it goes through all these things while answering. Right. So this is the basic workflow. And on top of this, I've also created a Slack bot, right, which basically helps me to directly analyze the issue directly on my Slack. So what I can do is I can tag a bot. I can specify the flight ID, and I can simply send a message to this bot, right? And on Slack, it goes through that dashboard. It automatically searches for this particular flight ID and then gives the analysis back. So you can see the same analysis that I got in the intelligent analysis window, right? It directly sent this analysis to this thread. And we have this bot added to a lot of our customer channels. So they can simply tag that bot, because we have a lot of Slack connects with customers, right? They can simply tag this bot and ask them what happened in this flight, or why did the drone do this, do that in that particular flight. So they literally get an incident response immediately, right? But if they are not satisfied with the response, they can definitely raise it to our dev team as well. But this is more of a self-serving bot, right? And it has helped a lot us internally to do all this debugging and reducing our basically issue resolution times. So yeah, this was it. This was the a general overview of the dashboard that I wanted to show you guys. I'm happy to take any questions on this.
Okay, I guess now someone finally broke the ice. Yeah, so Anika has asked, have there been cases where AI reached an incorrect conclusion, and what did you learn from those failures?
Yeah, so definitely there are, AI is not perfect. There have been many cases where customers were not satisfied with the response of the AI. So in that case, they anyways have an option to directly raise it on our ticketing portal. But the major goal of this tool is to kind of provide them with a tool which can at least check some logs and give them at least a checklist of which items because this tool provides an analysis, but it also gives you the data points in the checklist. So if the AI, if they're not satisfied with the AI response, they can directly flag it and raise it to the customer portal. And they if we see that the customer has raised the issue even after analyzing it in the bot, we then kind of tweak our SOPs and add more guardrails to it. But it's majorly a game of how we are structuring those markdown files. Yeah, but a lot of response has been positive on this.
Anand has asked whether markdown file contains visual info from doc or PDF.
No, so markdown files do not contain any images, but they do contain a description of those images that were specified in the PDF, right? So if you let's say ask Claude to convert those PDF files or docx files to markdown, right, it makes sure to preserve what it has seen in the image itself, in the document itself. So it generally does it automatically. But if you've felt like it's not analyzing the images, just you can write a prompt that make sure that you're also capturing the information in the image. It won't have the image, but at least it will have a description of it. Yeah. But for our SOPs, it has been majorly text-based information that we have sent it to.
Okay. I hope that answers your question, Anand. Bill has asked, what outside tools do you use? One was Lovable, and which were others?
Yeah. So another tool that I personally use very much on a daily basis is Obsidian. And I would definitely recommend you guys to try that out as well, because with Claude, right, especially Claude Code, there's a lot of chats you have have with it every day, right? But where is it storing all that information? Definitely, it stores it inside its markdown file, claude.md, but like after a few while, it will kind of start overwriting it as well, because there is a limited number of context that you can store in it, right? So using tools like Obsidian helps you to organize that information in a particular folder and create graphs or markdowns automatically, right? So after every session, you can simply tell the cloud to update your Obsidian knowledge base. So what it does is it combines all of your chats, its responses, converts it to Markdown, sends it to Obsidian, and Obsidian then automatically creates those graph nodes. And let's say you are shifting to a new computer, right? But you already have your like knowledge base in Obsidian, right? And Obsidian can be connected to GitHub as well. So when you port your computer, you can simply ask Claude to refer to that Obsidian knowledge base, and it will have context, ready to go, right? So that helps a lot in organizing your knowledge base and information without like reinstalling Claude again and again.
Okay. So Vrunda has asked, what were the biggest challenges in connecting logs, telemetry tickets, and documentation into a unified workflow?
Yeah, actually, the documentation part and the SOP part was the easy one, because we already have that information, and it's very, because I have a lot of connectors, so I can query that information through our Slack channels, through my Google Workspace. That was the easy part. The difficult part was kind of integrating our third-party logging platform, because that platform is something that only our development team uses, and we don't have a lot of information because it contains a lot of stuff related to backend, right? So that was the challenging part, I would say, a bit. But like if you give it to Claude Code, right, and give it the API documentation for that tool, it kinds of makes it a lot of easier on integrating all of that. So my workflow looked like I did the basic integration on Claude Code, push the code to GitHub, and then connected my Lovable to it to build the front end on top of it. So like these are the four tools I primarily used: Obsidian, Cloud Code, then I used Lovable, and then the Dash Zero for all the backend and logging stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So now Ananya has asked, how do you ensure the AI has enough context without making the process too expensive or slow?
Yeah, I think this is a very good question. And here's why, again, Obsidian comes into picture. Because you're using Obsidian, right? It has already categorized all that information into interconnected nodes, right? So when I, sent or uploaded that entire knowledge base to Lovable, it already had interconnections between those documents. And when you upload these documents to Lovable, it creates something called as RAG out of it. So RAG basically uses semantic search to like match specific terms that you have asked in your prompt. So that utilizes a lot less tokens compared to if you would have directly uploaded a Word document or a big chunk of text. So because Obsidian has broken everything down into small pieces, token consumption is very less. And if you use Obsidian in your day-to-day workflow, right, or a RAG, that helps a lot with token usage, especially if Claude is like getting more and more expensive every day.
Now Sashank has asked, how does the system gathers context across multiple sources without overwhelming the AI with irrelevant information?
Understood. So in this, the major part would be the SOP documents. So I mentioned about how there were specific SOPs that I had specified in the markdown. So there's a clear instruction that before sending out any response, you have to validate points mentioned in that SOP. So no matter where the AI is fetching the data from, be it third-party tools, any third-party telemetry information, it finally has to go through that SOP document. And in that SOP document, right, markdown, it has clear guidelines on how to present the information out to the customer, because then it could also present our sensitive backend information, right? Things that customers don't want. So there are explicit instructions in that particular document, right? So that AI is always limited and guardrails are correctly set. Right.
Okay.
I
So
actually had one question. Sorry, I just saw in chat that there's another question.
it's
Should I?
okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. I actually had one question more for internal usage.
Yeah.
So, like from what I can see so far, you've built a pull-based mechanism where you can ask any questions and get any answers. Have you tried making any push-based mechanism where it is automatically alerting you that, hey, these type of chats are the ones that are actually coming up a lot. You should maybe take a look at this. And if you were to execute, if you haven't done it yet, how would you do it actually?
Yeah. So actually, I think regarding the issues that customers raise through our portal, right? We have a tool which basically categorizes all the issues into, what are the trends of the issues over time, and it bunches or triages issues into, let's say, module one of the platform is something that a lot of customers are facing issues with. This is something that we already have as a separate tool internally. But yeah, I think, yeah, a very good idea for me to implement next time as well in this particular tool, right? Let's say a lot of customers are asking questions about a particular module. I can definitely, that could be a sign for an alert as well. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. So we have a last question, I guess, from Bhumika. How do you measure the accuracy of AI findings?
Yeah. So regarding accuracy, right? Usually, like as I also mentioned, that if the response is not satisfactory, and if it is an urgent response, usually customers do directly raise it directly on the customer portal, right? But as a first line of interaction or first response, they just chat with this AI for any information regarding any operations in their entire dashboard. So as a it's like really difficult to measure the accuracy of it, but the guardrails that are set in the SOP, it makes sure that at least it is not hallucinating or making up stuff, right? Because I'm using directly backend data from our tool, right? It kind of go like has a clear information about all the data is referring to, that is correct backend logic data. There could be instances where it might give 2 3 root causes, right? This could be the cause, this could be the cause, this could be the cause. It might not give a clear root cause, but it still gives you options that these could be the issues that you need to look at, right? So instead of a single root cause, it might give 2 3 root causes, but at least it steers them in the right direction. So from the accuracy standpoint, personally, we have found a lot of success with this. Instead of customers raising it to us, they have completely kept it at the portal level, and a lot of customers have completely kind of stopped raising tickets as well, right? So we have that metric to quantify it, but yeah, it can give 2 3 answers. In that case, at least they get the next steps uh, uh, till the time they raise it to us.
Okay. So Ziba has asked, I have a very basic question. Ziba, it's completely okay to ask even a very basic question or even a dumbest question itself. It's nothing to worry about. But yeah. So she has asked, can you explain in simple words that which metrics are most important when evaluating the success of AI system?
Definitely. So I'll talk about this system, right? So I had this customer, right? They had a remote deployment in a very like remote part of Australia, right? They had multiple drone operations. They used to fly 10 15 times a day, and at the end of the day, they used to report 6 issues, right? Those are random issues that we need to look at, and those 6 issues used to take a week to then debug, right? Because it has to be raised to a development team, and they need to look at that. But since the time like we've released this portal, right, that I'm just getting one issue, I think like 2 3 issues in a week, from 6 issues per day to 2 3 issues a week. I think it's a like for us internally and for this tool, I think that's a very clear indication that this particular thing has helped them, because the issues that they were raising were very menial or SOP based. Basically, let's say the log disconnected because of a network issue, or it was a single parameter change that they had not set in their flight, right? So these were automatically flagged by AI, and they were able to take action instead of waiting for us to tell them you are doing this wrong, you have to do this in this manner. So as a success metric, you can definitely like get customer feedback as well. And initially when we rolled it out, it was through a selected set of customers, right? There were only 10-15 customers that we used to work with closely with, that we rolled it out to them, because they used to raise a lot of issues. So when we got success from that side, we saw a reduction of issues coming in from them in the ticketing portal. That's how we kind of rolled it out to a wider audience, because we know that this is something that's helping and also saving a lot of time for us.